Hey, hello everyone. I'm Majesty, an Atlanta-based real estate developer with $13 million in assets under management and another $50 million in the pipeline. I build and rehab apartment buildings, so stick around for some investment tips. So I get asked a lot of questions, and I decided to do a series of 100 questions of the kind of frequent questions that I get in hopes that it adds value to somebody. So here's the first question is, what is the best way to start investing in real estate? Which is a valid question. Um, and I would say that that depends on where you're starting from. But the first thing I'll say is mindset is the most important thing when it comes to that. And what I mean by that is, well, one, you have to commit to doing a deal. You got to commit that this is what you want to do, and kind of commit to seeing it through, because obviously there's going to be challenges. You haven't done it before. So you just want to make sure that you're committed to seeing it all the way through and that you actually want to invest in real estate. The other thing I would say is that you have to decide if you want to kind of do it for yourself or if you want it done for you. And there's different ways that you can go about that. We'll get into that a little bit more later, but that's a decision you have to make as well. You know, if you have a full-time job and you're busy and this is something more that you kind of want to happen in the background, then you know kind of how to move forward. But if you want to actually be involved, boots on the ground, talking to sellers, buyers, GCs, all of that stuff, then it's a different path. So I would say that it depends on where you start. So are you starting with zero? You starting with a little bit of money, or you starting with you just got unlimited money? You have access to money already. So I'll talk about all three. So if you're starting with nothing, then I would say that sourcing deals is the best way to go about getting started in real estate. And what I mean by that is helping people that do have money find deals or find, projects to invest in. That way, not only do you make money, but you also get to kind of learn the process, the ins and outs, and all of that by going through these deal cycles on somebody else's dime. Now, I started out wholesaling, and I think that wholesaling is a great way to start in real estate. You get to make some money, but you also get to kind of learn the ins and outs and get kind of dirty and everything like that. Also, you can get your real estate license. I'm not personally licensed. I prefer to stay an investor. But you can get your real estate license and do the same thing, helping people either find or sell properties, basically getting into the game without having to put your money up specifically. That it helps a lot to be able to learn the ins and outs, because it's a very expensive game, probably the most expensive game there is. So you wanna try to learn, get some paid training and learn while you do it. So if you're starting with a little bit of money, let's just say you got anywhere between about like $5,000 to $50,000 available to you. There's several things that you can do in that space. So house hacking is one of them. House hacking, as I'm sure you guys probably have heard, is where you purchase multifamily property, usually smaller, like maybe a 2, 3, 4-plex. You live in one and then you rent out the other so that it covers your cost of living in the one. So essentially, I mean, you're getting kind of free rent. I think it's best to go ahead and pay rent as well. That way your income is higher, and it helps with the value of the property. But either way, that's house hacking. That's something that you can do with a little bit of money. Now FHA has some products out where you only have to put 5% down on a fourplex. So that's one way to go. House flipping, that can be done with hard money loans. Typically anywhere between about $25,000 to $50,000 to do that you'll have to put down. They'll put up the rest. You flip a house, get a good GC, and you can get it done. Another one is Airbnb, short-term rentals. Not really my space, but I do hear that, some people do well. I don't know about this market exactly if that's where you want to be, but that is an option if you have that money, because all you have to do is, kind of get control of a house and then furnish it and then market it, and, it works out from there. Another one would be to, join with some other investors, like partner up, like form an Avengers of real estate investing. And you can meet a lot of people at real estate groups. There's all types of real estate groups, from Facebook groups to in-person events, and organizations like RIA and all of that stuff. They're all around the country, so there's really no excuse not to be able to connect with other real estate investors. Another thing that you can do is buy subject to, or using what's called owner financing, seller financing. And that's when a seller has a property that they want to sell, but they're willing to kind of be the bank and give you the loan for the house. And they typically only require sometimes nothing down, but all the way up to 10-20% down. So that's a good way to get into a property as well. And then back to the FHA loan, just a regular FHA loan. You can get into some of those with down payment assistance, like as little as 0% down. I mean, you do have to live in it, so that's one of the challenges you have to figure out. You live in it for a specific time frame, and then you can move out and then rent it out and everything like that. So those are some ways to get started if you only have a little bit of money. Now, if you're starting with plenty money, let's just say that's 50,000 and up. Then there's different things that you can do. Now you're playing with something, you have more options. One of those options is a DSCR loan. Now these do require good credit, and DSCR stands for debt service coverage ratio. Basically, as long as the property is bringing in a certain amount of money, they'll loan you the money to buy that property, and you can buy as many as you want, but it does require good credit, and it does require that the property is income producing. So it's not something that you can use to flip a home with, or to go into a distressed situation with. You want to make sure it's income producing, but it is an option. There's crowdfunding platforms. At this level of money, now you can put money into other people's deals, which is what crowdfunding is. That's kind of what I guess you would say Grant Cardone kind of does with his funds, some of the funds for the non-accredited investors and things like that. That's what the Tulsa Real Estate Fund was or is a crowd fund. Another one is just conventional loans. Now you have good credit, you have some money to put down. Typically they want anywhere between 10 to 20%. And you can just go and buy a home. You can just find something that's listed that you like, or that looks like a good deal. Maybe you can rent it out. You put 10-20% down and you close on it, and now you're a real estate investor. Another one is syndication, which kind of goes back to that crowdfunding type approach, but a little bit more sophisticated investors and operators and things like that. So, but you once again putting money into someone else's deal. This is kind of done for you. You're not doing it yourself. And then there's also REITs and other private equity funds, real estate funds that you could put your money into, and they go out and get the deals for you. These are typically larger operators with, extensive track record, and you're putting your money behind them. But it is secured typically by the properties, so it's a little different than stock. So those are a few ways you can get started in real estate investing. I mean, the main thing, like I said, is mindset. You got to jump in. You got to decide it's what you want to do. You have to commit to doing it, and basically say, hey, I'm gonna put some money into this. I'm gonna buy this. I'm gonna plant this seed, and allow it to grow. It's a big decision to make because real estate moves slow. So you want to be sure about what you're doing. Another, I guess, kind of tip is that nothing's wrong with paying for mentorship. You're paying to skip the learning curve. You can choose to kind of do it yourself and bump your head on all the different obstacles, or you can work with someone that has already been there and allow them to help you skip the line, to reaching your success sooner. So the cost may seem, up front like a problem, but when you really do the math on it, and you see that you kind of get to expedite your success, and also you get to avoid the losing the money on your own trying to figure it out, then sometimes it's a good way to go about. I would recommend getting with a mentor to kind of help you keep focus and everything like that. Even agents, they have to sign to a broker and who acts somewhat as a mentor to kind of keep them get them right, and keep them on the right track. So ultimately, you just want to get into the game. Real estate is the best asset that exists. It's the most tried and true asset over time. We're talking thousands of years, not 5, 10 years, 20 years, like a lot of the assets that other people like to discuss. Real estate is the biggest wealth builder known to man. So you definitely want to get involved in one of those ways I mentioned. And I appreciate you guys checking out this video. Feel free to drop any more questions. I'll just be answering them ongoing in hopes to connect with you guys. So I appreciate you checking this out. Talk to you soon. Bye.